Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. As always, today I will be doing a deck tech for you guys. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you and put it on the channel, make a video about it, or perhaps help you tweak a current deck list, I'm looking for any of the following metrics in the comment section: the bracket, the commander, the theme, the budget, any pet cards, and any other restrictions that you have. Today, I'm doing a deck for myself. This is Vivi Ornitier. So, a little disclaimer: as I've been playing in more play groups and playing with more people, I've been getting a better grasp of the bracket system, how it works, what it means, what each bracket represents, and I've realized that in the past, with the 11 decks that I originally started posting for this channel recently, I was pretty much always in bracket 2 or 3 with most of my decks, and I do have friends who like to play at bracket 4. So I've decided to since come down from 11 decks to 10, and I'm going to have 3 budget 2, 3 budget 3, and 3 budget 4, and then 1 competitive deck. That way I can sit down at any table, any play group, and be able to match the bracket, match the relative power level, and still have a variety of options that I enjoy playing. So Vivi is going to be one of my 3 bracket 4 decks. Obviously, I think everyone on the planet is excited to build this card who's interested in Magic. It's completely busted, it's completely broken. I think if it had any more text on it, it would already be coming out as a game changer. As is, it's probably going to be one of the most powerful and played Izzet commanders of all time. It's going to for sure give Gearson a run for its money. But with that being said, this is going to be a bracket 4 deck. This is going to be built to win. It's going to be fairly optimized. I did not order many cards for this deck. I didn't want to. I didn't want to spend really any money. So what you're going to see here is essentially what I have. I am going to make changes to the deck list. There's a ton of different ways to play Vivi. I think you can find and fit Vivi into bracket 3 through 5 all the way up to competitive based on the cards you're playing and based on how optimized you want it. So this is not going to be playing all the cards that you're seeing all over the internet right now necessarily for this deck, but eventually it might. Right now this is going to be a culmination of stuff that I have and stuff that I want to test. And if you want to follow along with the changes that I make, just keep an eye on the Mox field. But for now, let's get started. So Vivi is a 3 mana Izzet commander. You can pay 0 to add X mana in any combination of blue and or red, where X is its power. You can activate this only once each turn, on your turn. And then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you put a 1/1 counter on Vivi, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So it gives you mana, and it gives you a win condition in of itself. There's one thing that's lacking, and that's card advantage, but thank God, because if this thing had card advantage, it would either cost 6 or 7 mana, or it would be banned on release. So I think it's extremely powerful for what it does, and just based off reading this, you can go the route of making Vivi really big to generate a ton of mana. You can go the route of having a bunch of like 1 damage pin effects in order to utilize the second ability a lot and kind of whittle the whole table down. I've decided to go the route of combo slash storm. So in my creature section, I have Archmage for card draw. I have Burgi that helps with the storm. I have Dragon's Rage Challenger that allows us to surveil into our graveyard. So our main combo, obviously if you see this Thassa's Oracle, is going to be winning out of our graveyard. We do have a few other combos. This is a combo-tastic deck. We have Dualcaster Mage alongside Twin Flame, which will win the game on its own. But if you don't have both of these cards, they still individually can perform well in this deck, as Dualcaster can copy a big spell if you're trying to build up your storm count. Goblin Electromancer is always going to be good in an Izzet spell slinging deck to make stuff cheaper. Another option you could be looking at for something like this would be like Baral, Chief of Compliance, which again, there's a million ways to build this deck, and there's probably like 2 to 300 really good cards for this commander, and it's going to take a long time to figure out what's really the best and what you should be playing for the bracket you're in. But for now, I've chosen not to go with them. We have Niv Mizzet Perun. This is a good way to draw cards, and it also combos with a bunch of stuff. So we'll get that combo out of the way. We have Tandem Lookout, we have Curiosity, and then we have Ophidian Eye. So basically, what all of these cards do is they say whenever this creature deals damage, you draw a card. And then Niv Mizzet says whenever you draw a card, you deal a damage. So they are just a simple 2-card combo that allows you to pretty much take the whole table out or deal an absurd amount of damage and draw pretty much your entire deck. If you don't have that combo going, you can simply attach these things to Vivi, and basically every time you cast a non-creature spell, you're going to put a 1/1 counter on Vivi, and it's going to deal damage to each opponent. And since you're dealing a damage to each singular opponent, that's going to be actually 3 triggers for Tandem Lookout, Curiosity, and Ophidian Eye. So you're going to draw 3 cards every time you cast a non-creature spell, which is going to allow you to go absolutely bananas in a deck like this. Ragavan is going to be a good way for us to get Vivi out a turn early, as well as just being an overall good low to the ground creature in red. Ral is going to be the current commander until Vivi releases, but even afterwards it's going to be a mainstay in the deck because it does make our stuff cheaper. Excuse me. And then when we are comboing out, it's going to be a good way for us to continue the chain with his ultimate. Simian Spirit Guide is a way for us to get Vivi out a turn early. Stormkiln Artist is going to be much like Bergie in everything that we cast is going to be turning into like a miniature ritual. So we do have the Thassa's Oracle combo. If you don't know what that is, it's Thassa's Oracle in conjunction with Lion's Eye Diamond and Underworld Breach and Brain Freeze. So essentially the combo is you are going to cast Underworld Breach, which allows you to escape cards from your graveyard. You're going to escape Lion's Eye Diamond to make some mana, and you don't care about discarding your hand because you're going to be operating entirely from your graveyard at this point. You're going to cast Brain Freeze in order to put more cards into the graveyard so you can continue to escape Lion's Eye Diamond and thus continue to escape Brain Freeze. You're going to do this until you've milled your entire library, and then you're simply going to escape Thassa's Oracle from the graveyard or cast it from your hand to just straight up win the game. So this is a combo-tastic deck. It has a lot of ways to go infinite. I would say that is going to be the most tried and true end of our storm win condition. So as we're filtering through our deck, drawing and casting tons of spells, that's going to be our most interesting and most, I would say, not most consistent, because I think the Niv Mizzet Lookout Ophidian Eye Curiosity package and the Dual Caster Twin Flame package is smaller, so it will probably happen more often. But we do have ways to actually tutor those combo pieces and make that combo happen. So I think you will be winning most often in this fashion. Sorceries, we have Blasphemous Act as a little bit of removal. We have Echo of Aeons. So you're not going to really want to shuffle your graveyard in because you want to utilize your graveyard. This is a concession to the fact that if Thassa's Oracle or Underworld Breach happen to get into our graveyard earlier than we need them, especially Underworld Breach, there's really no way for us to get that breach back out of the graveyard. So we have to play something like this to have a guaranteed way of getting that out of our graveyard. Even if it goes into our library, we have to have access to it. Expressive Iteration is just going to be good card draw. Gamble is going to be a way to find our win cons. Grape Shot is going to be an interesting way for us to end our storm in order to maybe take a player out, maybe just wipe the table. I don't know. Jessica's Will goes without saying, fantastic card in this deck. Mizzix's Mastery is going to be another way for us to utilize our graveyard and just dump all of the spells out a second time. Mystic Retrieval will allow us to buy something out of our graveyard in case it's gone there too quickly. Past in Flames will essentially one of the main storm cards for this deck that allows you to cast all the stuff out of your graveyard a second time. Personal Tutor, obvious why it's here. Rite of Flame, solve the equations, going to allow us to search for those things again. Will of the Jeskai is going to be something we're happy to do both sides of, so it's going to be a Past in Flames and a wheel, basically built in one. Windfall is going to be another way for us to wheel. We do have a pretty big interaction suite. Offer You Can't Refuse, Arcane Denial, Counterspell, Flusterstorm, Muddle the Mixture, and Mana Drain are all going to be permission pieces. I mean, Deflecting Swat kind of as well, and Ijit Charm kinda as well. I'd both count those as like halves. But those are going to be all ways for us to protect our Vivi, protect our win condition, and continue to keep us churning. Born Upon to Win will actually allow us to win at instant speed. Brain Freeze we spoke about. We have Brainstorm, Consider, Frantic Search, Ijit Charm, all ways of us sifting through our deck to get to our win conditions. Fists of Flame is the first one that I'm trying of these cards that are basically make Vivi bigger in order to generate more mana. I think we're going to be using Vivi earlier on than later in our chain. So I'm not playing like Blazing Shoal, but I think that card definitely has merit, and it is possible that it'll find its way here. This is going to be the first type of that card that I'm testing though. Frantic Search. We have Gifts Ungiven and Intuition. These are both going to be ways for us to find multiple win conditions or multiple combos and basically make it so our opponents have no choice but to give us the win. Pognify is a little bit of removal, and then we are playing the Rituals, Pyretic, and Seething Song, and we already mentioned Rite of Flame. Artifacts, we don't have a ton. We have Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Ijit Signet, Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Mind Stone, Mox Opal, Soul Rain, Talisman, Thought Vessel. So technically we have 10, but you're obviously never going to use Lion's Eye Diamond as a piece of ramp, so I would say it's closer to 9. We also have Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves as both ways of protecting Vivi and keeping him on the board. Enchantments, we already talked about these three. Underworld Breachbane, our main win con, and then I also added a Mystic Remora. Again, I think this deck's definitely going to want to play Rhystic Study. It's just not a card I have multiple copies of, and my only copies in my competitive CDH deck. So for right now, I'm not playing it, but obviously if you have access to one, it's probably the right call for this deck. Lands, there's nothing crazy to mention. It's just consistent. It's all of the blue-red stuff that I could find that I had access to. So, again, pretty simple package, pretty simple game plan. I think it's always fun to play a deck like this where you're essentially solving a puzzle on your turn in order to find your win conditions. I would definitely only play this at bracket 4. You could make it playable at 3, but I think it's going to be too powerful more often than not. So I would play this at the table that is apt, willing, and ready to deal with a Storm deck. Because if you've ever played against Storm before, you know that they're going to end up being long terms and indeterminate win conditions that take a while to figure out. So hopefully you only play it with a table that's ready for that. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and Godspeed.